What up? This is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and it's time for another collabo. And today we have a familiar face as our guest, none other than one of the funniest people on the planet, one of my favorite YouTubers, Jared Buckendahl. How you doing, brother?
It's me, Rama! Yay! Ready to talk some more movies with you, man. It's been, a good month or so since we've done this?
Yes, and thank you for having me on your show prior to this.
Yeah, that was definitely a fun episode.
Oh, man.
Lots of laughter. Especially since I was hungover, spoiler.
And this time, we are going to celebrate another anniversary. It's the 10th anniversary of one of the highest grossing films of all time, until, of course, Avengers Endgame toppled it.
Yep.
And we're talking about, of course, 2009's Avatar. Now, let me share with you my context here. Months leading up to the release of Avatar, they announced it at Comic-Con, or they had promotion or marketing for it. I thought it was gonna be the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie.
Yeah. No, hey, that is. You wouldn't be wrong, because I'm sure that was way more popular than any other thing at that time. Right.
Everybody was
With that
thinking
name,
about it.
at least.
Exactly. And I was like, whoa, what is this blue thing? It was never on the show.
It's an offshoot, Rama.
No, it's a spin-off.
Yeah.
And then we saw, I think, a sneak preview. They have that kind of thing where we're going to show the first 5 minutes in the theater, attached to another movie. I forgot what it was. So we saw that one. I was like, okay, now we got used to the Avatar, not Avatar: The Last Airbender. And then we saw it, the entire movie at midnight showing, me and my friends. And I got to tell you, it was tough for me to stay awake. It was 3 hours long. Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, I'm thinking, just like everybody else, man, that was just like Pocahontas. That was just like Dances with Wolves,
Fern Gully, basically every movie you've ever seen.
So my first reaction, first time viewing the movie, I did not like it. I watched it again second time years later in a hotel while I was traveling, and it was playing on TV, and I caught the tail end of it, the action parts. I love the action parts. But what was your initial reaction? What was your first experience watching Avatar?
Rama, before I get into that, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Okay, so you saw it probably before, it was getting all the hype, it was getting all of the energy, and also when you saw it, was it in 3D?
I saw it in 3D. Yes.
Okay, because I feel like everyone that did see it, that was the way, or maybe they didn't even have showings that weren't 3D.
Oh, maybe, but that was the selling point. So you gotta experience it in 3D.
Absolutely. So my exposure to it, I had honestly, yesterday into today was the first time I've ever seen the movie. I had watched bits and pieces on FX because they literally played it all the time.
Yes.
And I remember it coming in theaters and everyone buzzing about it. I remember even my brother going to it probably more than once with his friends and be like, it is crazy, blah, blah, blah. And I remember seeing the commercials and I'm like, so it's these giant blue cat people protecting a jungle from Halo Marines? I didn't see the appeal,
Yeah. And what was your reaction now, having seen it?
And now seeing it, okay. Again, I saw your tweet, and it was like, oh, it doesn't do justice watching it on a small TV. Yes, This is a movie I feel like you had to see in theaters. It was made for 3D. It was cutting edge at that time. Again, we'll get into it later, I'm sure, but the movie, it generic plot-wise, it doesn't really, nothing jumps out to me, but this is a movie that, I have no idea how James Cameron made this world because it is very alive. There's a lot of different creatures and, there's just a lot to this world. Yeah, it doesn't do justice to, watch it on a TV and a tablet, and I guess the reason it made so much money is because people had to see it in theaters and then never watched it again.
I agree. And the 3 hours. Here's the thing. Last night I rewatched it again to prepare for our conversation.
Yep.
I was at first I was dreading it. It's like, oh, 3 hours, dang it. But then it was I kind of enjoyed it because even though I watch it on my small laptop screen, through watching it in this format, maybe on Disney Plus, it's just like you can pause. I can microwave my food. I can come back
Yep.
with my coffee. I can pace myself, as opposed to my first time watching it in the theater. I was like, oh, I couldn't go anywhere. I'm seated here. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh
the
yeah,
experience
yeah.
the experience has its upside and downside, to watching it at home.
Absolutely. And yeah, which way pause now and streaming. So
Exactly, exactly. By the way, for the viewers at home, if you end up seeing me looking confused on the screen, it's because the internet connection. I apologize to everybody. Sometimes we get a little buffer and shortcuts here, but
yeah, every time it buffs for him, I just on his screen I turn into a giant lizard, so it's very confusing for him.
but we're trucking through. We're trucking through.
Yes.
Let me give you the first fun fact here, and you can chime in as well with yours. Avatar budget is $237 million.
That's a lot of cheese, Rama.
That's a lot, and then $150 million more for promotion or marketing. Wow.
Well, okay. Isn't the guideline like whatever the budget is, you have to make 3 times that to break even or something like that?
Something like that. I think that's the rule of thumb, right?
Okay, well, I mean,
Yeah.
so what? 600. Well,
And it ended up being what, $2.5 billion, I think, around that much. And it stayed
in
for,
total.
I think so, yeah, and it stayed for a decade on top until Avengers Endgame toppled it.
Yeah.
And then the last highest grossing film of all time was Titanic, was also by James Cameron. This guy is just like the Midas touch, man. This guy,
He's figuring out that movie SEO and keywords and thumbnail.
and
The guy knows what he's doing.
and the
So I just
metadata.
looked up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
go
I
ahead.
just looked up Avatar. It's 2.79 billion currently.
Ooh,
Yeah.
2.9. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Dang, that's a lot of cheese, man. Wow.
Yeah. Which is so weird because again, like if you look at the top grossing movies, it's all kind of well-known stuff, franchises, whatnot. I mean, Titanic's in there, but that was kind of a phenomenon at that time.
And the thing is, there has been like at the time when the movie came out, there were theories as to why it was doing so well. And it even did incredibly well in China, and China is like the market that every movie wants to do well in.
Hmm.
And one reporter said that it resonated with communities that feel oppressed, especially in China. There are some people who are standing up to their government. There's the themes of the film about fighting back. It resonates with a
Hmm.
lot of people, especially
I
the
mean,
ones that,
yeah.
yeah.
Now that you point that out, that is definitely why it probably was making that money at that time. And also, I mean, just to the U.S., that was right after the 2008 financial
Yes.
decline and whatnot. So I mean, that could have somehow resonated with people as well.
Yeah, the timing was just perfect for that type of story. So that's why it's doing so well. Now, let's move on to the next bullet point here. I want to bring this up because I love this character, even though he's a villain. Stephen Lang as Quaritch is a beast. Oh my god! Did you see him like lifting weights in this movie? I was.
Oh yeah. I mean, he did. I will benefit of the doubt. He said it's low gravity. You're gonna get
Oh.
soft. So maybe it wasn't as heavy as he thought it was.
And he says he's like your typical army leader, like the sergeant in Full Metal Jacket or Vince Vaughn in Hacksaw Ridge, where they would like yell at you, but the words that come out sound funny, like
Yeah.
jujubes. We're not in Kansas anymore.
Yep. It's very kind of by the book, generic. You've seen this character before, but my God, he is good, and just what they did appearance wise. Like, he's already a badass dude, but then
Yeah.
you get that claw mark and the scars, and you're like, the first day, someone basically rips his face off.
And I saw him like ripping, like really flexing. I was like, I wanted to know where you go to the gym. I was like, I want to sign up for that, man. I want to get on your regimen. It's just
What is the
fantastic.
Stephen Lang workout? Come on, what is it? Steroids? Okay.
Now, one of his favorite machinery that he uses here, or his favorite, I should say, is the amplified mobility platform. Now that's the equivalence of, I guess you could say, at Walker. And it reminds us also of the powered workloader that Ripley uses in James Cameron's Aliens 2, where they but the it's like an advanced version because in this movie you can punch with it. You can like
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you knew what the name was because there's throughout this I'm gonna just say that machine thing or that blue thing or that creepy thing because I don't know the names of these things. But yeah, definitely like a mech walker. I mean, you've seen all of like video games and whatnot. It's kind of your generic. The person jumps in. Hell, Titanfall. It's kind of like that.
That's
The Titans
right.
in Titanfall. But yeah, it's more advanced because he's like boxing and then the robot's boxing, or there's even one funny part that I thought was kind of goofy, but it's advanced. The robot puts a hand on its hip when
Yeah.
he's talking to what is it, Jake Sully, is that his name?
Oh, yes, Jake Sully.
Yeah, at the beginning. So it's very kind of like goofy to see a robot acting almost like human like.
Yep. And how do you call that? I feel like when it comes to the villain Stephen Lang, not that he's one dimensional, but he has his objective really clear from day one. Like the movie doesn't do much to humanize him or show his empathy side. He's just like, I'm gonna be really. I mean the Navis are savages, and then so we're just gonna have to destroy them, and so that's his objective, that's his goal, and that's all you
Yep.
know about Stephen Lang. You don't get to know his background or anything like that. So I don't mind that. A lot of people probably would be like, yeah, it would be nice to know the villain, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
some sort of motivations kind of build him up more than, like you're saying, that one dimensional, I have a goal, get this object at any cost, essentially.
yeah, exactly. So the other villain is Giovanni Ribisi, but he represents the corporate greed. He doesn't really play much into the action sequences.
No.
I love also the aspect because I love skydiving. I've done bungee jumping, of course. I do have a fear of heights myself, but that's how I deal with it.
Yeah.
That sequence when they as in Jake Sully and the Navis were trying to get to the Banshees on top of the Hallelujah Mountains, and at one point they're like holding onto the vine, climbing up, and the camera was panning down. I was like, oh my god, my palms were sweaty.
Yep, mom spaghetti.
But the Hallelujah Mountains is so beautiful, man. It's just so great. The floating island. I mean, it's breathtaking. But I mean, I keep holding on to my the edge of my table too because they're like so high up. Oh
Yeah.
my god! And then that part where he tries to conquer one of the banshees, and then the banshee kind of throws him off the cliff. I was like, oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh yeah. See, I mean, that whole sequence right there, like the reason people saw this movie because it's visually stunning. It is beautiful. The landscapes and creatures and just world that he made is beyond, it's very original, I will say. But going back to your
Yeah, go ahead.
where you're watching on the edge of the cliff and like getting scared of the heights. I caught myself every movie now. I'll catch myself, even video games, when I'm like playing Uncharted or Jedi Fallen Order. For some reason, that visual feeling of height really gets me. And rewatching this, I guess, or watching it for the first time, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, it looks visually stunning, but my God, is it hitting with me that this is a guy on the cliff that's going to fall off at any moment.
Yes, and thank you for bringing up the some of the creatures. Yes, they are original. I agree with you, but I think the concept also takes after some of the creatures that we are familiar with. The ones that are prehistoric, and also the ones that exist, like the dogs that attacked him. When he was holding that torch, a fire torch. You can probably equivalent that to wolves. And then of
Wolves,
course,
hyenas, yeah.
exactly right. And then maybe the what do you call that? Oh yeah, the banshees. You can equivalent that to pterodactyls.
Yep.
Or so yeah. So I think there's some concepts that they took after from familiar, prehistoric animals and animals that exist today, and make it their own. You know what I'm saying? I think
Yep.
that's how I
Yeah,
see it.
there's definitely kind of like a template of realism
Exactly.
where they kind of jumped. I mean, hell, even that giant creature with it was basically a rhinoceros mixed with a giant beetle. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh man. So but the ones that I think are really original, like really that I've never seen it before. The template, like you said, the template, is the butterfly that when they spin, they light up, kind of
Yeah.
like a,
Yep.
a helicopter.
Yep.
I was like, I want to get that. I want to get one of that. I I gotta ask you about this. This we're just gonna jump straight to it. And again,
Butterfly type thing.
exactly. I apologize, guys, if the internet connection. My apologies. So my apologies to you as well, Jared. Sometimes we talk cross over each other. Uh,
Yep. Yep.
but I want to ask about the thing. Let's get right to it. The sex scene. Um,
That one?
yes, through the hair strain.
Yeah, put my hair worms into yours, man. I don't cool.
What did you think about that weird sex scene?
Weird. I mean, what do you want me to hear from me, Rama? I mean, okay, it's the hair strand type thing is kind of revealed earlier on when he's trying to ride the horses and whatnot. I wouldn't say lifeblood, but almost like their echo type thing where it's like connecting to nature. And it's revealed earlier on, but then when they start doing it to each other, I'm like, okay, it's set up, it's revealed. I should have seen this coming, but it's still weird.
I mean, because prior to the hair strain connecting thing, it looks like it's gonna be just like your regular sex scene, right? Because I was wondering, at least to me, it's like, oh, are they gonna kiss, or do Navis don't kiss through the using lips? And they do.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, because they're humanoids. I forgot. And but then they use the hair thing. I was like, okay, that's new.
Yeah, yeah, those giant purple cats. Who would have known?
Who don't know? And it leads me to my next question too, because I was thinking, like, when I was watching it, because that's Avatar. That's not Jake Sully's actual body. The body, his body is inside the pod, and that's why there are many times when he keeps losing weight because he keeps forgetting to eat, and then
Yep.
Sigourney Weaver's like, you gotta eat, you gotta take care of this body. It's like, no, but my other body, we ate some great meal last time. But yeah, but you got this body hasn't eaten yet,
Yeah.
and so we're wondering, like, okay, so if he has sex in the in the Avatar body, and if he eats, if he dies in the Avatar body, like, okay, so if he doesn't die yet because his real body still exists. It's an interesting concept to me. I feel like it's really cool if they have that in real life, kind of like as a theme park thing. Like, oh my God, yeah, Rama, get in the
Yeah,
pod,
yeah.
and to
I was
experience.
going to say, definitely the Avatar theme park at Disney is going to have sun tanning beds where you can splooge in them. Yes, Rama, that is exactly what they're going to do.
And it's a lot like Ready Player One. Remember Ready Player
Yeah,
One,
yeah,
virtual?
with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Oasis.
Same thing, same concept. I was like, wow, it must be really nice. By the way, I've never been to the Avatar theme park. They have it in the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. I would love
Oh,
to go
okay,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you been?
I have not. I heard. I mean, it's fairly new, isn't it? Like 3, 4 years old.
Exactly. So we gotta go there, bro, before the sequels come out.
Yeah, to go have sex with some giant purple cats.
Using strain hair.
Yeah.
Here's
Here,
a,
take my ponytail. Let's tie them together.
and I guess this is Disneyland. The kids are like, oh, horrified.
Oh no, Mickey, no.
Mommy, what are they doing?
Okay, we gotta get out of here, man.
Here's
Popa's not gonna like this.
demonetized.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, here's a fun fact. Matt Damon and Jake Gyllenhaal were considered for the lead role, but James Cameron wanted. There you go. James Cameron wanted somebody who is not famous, Sam Worthington, to play the Jake Sully, because
Yeah.
he said that he wanted to give the character a real quality, a guy that you can have a beer with. And I think even though no offense to Sam Worthington fans out there. I don't think Sam Worthington is a fantastic actor generally, but he's the perfect choice for this one because your focus, because of him, your focus becomes on Pandora and Navi and the story and the blue creature. Your focus is not like the star. You know what I'm saying? So he's not the
Yeah,
face
yeah.
on the poster. He's
I
if you
think
see the
yeah,
posters,
kind
yeah.
of what you're saying is if you would have gotten either of those other two characters, it would have just been almost weird because it's like, oh, it's Jake Gyllenhaal in this jungle setting. Sorry, Rama. Okay, we're good. We're
Okay,
good.
yeah. Go ahead. Finish your thought about the other
Oh,
two.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say, yeah, like not to discount Sam Worthington, but it worked really well to have him in this setting rather than be distracting.
Exactly, exactly. But of course, James Cameron, as always, surrounds his lead actors with capable, great ones like Sigourney Weaver,
Yep.
and I love Michelle Rodriguez, even though she doesn't have a lot of lines in it, and and Stephen Lang, and of course, Giovanni Ribisi. Here's a fun fact as well. The CGI scenes, some of the CGI scenes took an average of 47 hours to render, and the cigarette that Sigourney Weaver's character smokes is CGI. That's interesting. I don't know if you know that.
Wow. I mean, I could only imagine how long it took just in the rendering bay. I think I had mentioned like the how long they were in the rendering bay and the computers had to have been working overtime or whatever.
For the cigarette.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just for that. I mean, think about that. That little tiny thing. I don't know. It's movies are weird.
Movies are weird. um, Most of the animal noises that you heard in this movie are recycled from Jurassic Park. That's
Thank
it.
you. I'm so glad you brought that up because that's the first thing I said. Dinosaur noises. I was like, that is a goddamn T-Rex and that is a raptor.
You noticed it even before you Googled it, right?
Yeah, sounds that are from Jurassic Park.
And this is the movie that a collaboration of both Weta and ILM. So they've collaborated before in some other movies in the past, but only a few times. So that's pretty cool. Two of the world's biggest visual effects companies joining forces on what becomes the biggest movie of all time or one of the biggest. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. It's so great.
Yep.
And the first movie to be shot with a 3D camera, released in 3D theaters or IMAX, and then nominated for Best Picture. So that also made history on top of it. This is just amazing, amazing stuff. So I guess you could say that even though the movie itself, the concept of the story is not original, like we said, Fern Gully, Pocahontas, Dances with Wolves,
Yep.
it's amazing the accomplishments that it made. I believe that this movie Avatar, I think everything just works perfectly for it for that time. I mean, if the movie had come out like 10 years earlier, not only the technology had not kept up, but the themes would not land. I think people would have been turned off by what are these blue creatures,
Yeah.
and, and it's just like everything, like the stars align for this film, and and of course now because Fox has been bought by Disney, we can enjoy it streaming on Disney Plus.
Absolutely, yeah. I was gonna add on top of that. It's so weird because this hit at the right time, right place, right people. It's weird because yeah, if it would have been 10 years earlier, 10 years later, it just would have probably 10 years earlier would have been really like I don't know if people would have appreciate I don't know if appreciated is the right word, but they would have been like, what is this? And then 10 years later, they would have been like, this isn't a comic book.
Yeah,
So why watch it?
exactly.
So I'm kind of curious about how
Yeah.
and maybe we'll touch on it later, but how the sequels are going to turn out.
Yes, let's talk about that. So, because I read a few that is gonna focus on Pandora's Ocean. I
Yeah,
don't
I had
know.
heard because James Cameron loves water. He fucking goes down to the water and hangs out with fish. Um, yeah, the second one, my understanding is the ocean and water and that portion of Pandora. But I'm curious on what 3 and 4 are going to go. Is it going to be almost like a video game where the 3 is going to be the desert and then 4 is going to be like ice? Like, is that what we're going to do?
I don't know. And also, to your point, like, how do you make 4 sequels, and how do you continue the story that long? with a solid villain, because the first one, corporate greed is the villain. The army is
Yes.
part of the corporate greed. So what are you gonna create? What kind of villain? What kind of bad guy? What kind of antagonist? What kind of stuff that they're gonna stand up against for two, three, four, five? That you're gonna stretch it that long, extend it that long? It's like, people will, because if you have one villain for four sequels, then people will be like, oh, this is getting too old. It's like we're seeing the same bad guy.
Yeah. Well, and also I'm curious on, are they going to actually like connect them, or is it going to be kind of like small little pieces that flow through each one of them? It's not going to be the same protagonist, same antagonist. It's going to be almost this. It's in the same world, but almost this anthology type thing.
I Thank you. I don't know either, but maybe it goes to some of the theories or points out there saying that maybe Avatar should be just a standalone. It probably doesn't need a sequel.
Maybe I don't know. I mean, James Cameron, he must know what he's doing somehow, because Titanic and Avatar, both were the top grossing box office for years, and the guy must know something.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna.
I was gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just this is one funny thing that I think is funny, and it's
Yeah.
very kind of video gamey-esque, I guess. But the material that they're going after is called unobtainium.
What is that? What is
Why?
that?
Why?
What is that? I haven't Googled it. What is that?
It's just, I mean, think about it. It's okay, like unobtainium. So like that later part is any kind of material, but then unobtained, they can't obtain it, so that's why they're calling it that. Really?
Oh, it's a play on words.
guarantee- I can, in my mind, I'm thinking of a sketch where an intern walks in and they're like, "We don't know what to call it. Should we call it diamonds or this or that? What about unobtainium? Oh my gosh, give this man a raise."
I never thought of it, so it's a play on word. Unobtained.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you for that.
Mind blown.
And I was gonna say that the sequels, because it's James Cameron, on Pandora, Arnold will be sent from the future.
Get down unobtainium. What are you doing? You a giant purple cat.
Jake Sully, come with me if you want to live.
Sally, you need legs. Why are you running? Get in the tube. Get in the tube.
I'm just saying because James Cameron has worked with Arnold before, so
Yeah. Crossover, man.
So James Cameron shared universe.
Yeah, like the next villain's gonna be Skynet or whatever.
No. Oh my God. Oh, Jared, it's always fun laughing with you, brother.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's good. It's good.
Now, so would you ever cosplay as the Navis?
I probably would, but I guess my thing is when it comes to costumes, I
Yeah.
don't like paint. 'Cause
Oh,
I feel like you have to probably paint your face to get the authentic look. Hell, even maybe paint your whole body and
yeah.
be that skin cat or whatever.
So you wouldn't be Dr. Manhattan either. Gotcha.
No, especially I mean I don't have that huge dong, so so no.
Yeah, I wouldn't be caught dead probably cosplaying as Navi.
It's cold, ladies. It's cold.
And also the tails too, because people might, step on it, and I'll be like, oh, and they'll.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I don't know if it was I had mentioned it earlier, but I've been to quite a few like Halloween parties, and there's been one or two people that have dressed up as that. It was probably more popular, I would say 5-6 years ago, but now it's kind of trailing off.
Yes, until the sequels come out.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing. It's going to almost get reinvigorated and kind of. I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm very curious, and again, I feel like when the sequel comes out, we should sit down and talk again, because I'm curious if this is going to land and kind of be that cultural phenomenon again, or it was just a flash in the pan at that time.
Yeah, it'll be. I think, in my opinion, it'll be kind of hard for them to recapture the magic. But we'll see. Like you said, James Cameron always has some tricks up his sleeves. So he knows
Maybe
something we don't.
or something like that. Who knows?
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so I'm winding down. So let's talk about the themes here. I know we graced a little bit about the themes. What are the themes that land with you about Avatar? Um,
Um, let's see. I mean, you kind of mentioned them earlier, where
yeah.
it's. I'm glad you did, but kind of stepping back, it's like, yeah, it's dealing with the class divide and corporate greed, and um also it's kind of like this thing where you could almost look at it as like racism, because
Hmm.
they go in and they don't know. I mean, the scientists kind of know what they appreciate the Avatar, the Navi, more than Stephen Lang's character and the people wanting unobtainium. But once he gets into that culture, he kind of learns and, sees the way that they're living life and appreciates it more than kind of just going in and destroying things.
Yeah. I thank you for sharing that. And also, when I was watching it, I gotta be honest with you, Jared. I'm not a tree hugger. I'm not I'm not too like, oh, environmental Greenpeace. I'm not like. I
Yeah.
mean, I think we need to take care of our planet, but I'm not like, oh my God, I'm gonna chain myself to a tree. Nothing like that.
Yeah, it's like you have bills to pay. Come on.
Exactly. But I understand the people who do that. Like I think one of the examples last year was, or I think 2 years ago maybe, Standing Rock against the pipelines in South Dakota.
Oh, yep, yep.
So that, the kind of, I wouldn't fly out there and join them, but I'm like, whatever I could do, kind of cheer on Twitter or donate. So it's just that kind of stuff happens regularly in our lives. So that's one of the examples. I guess that if that kind of stuff also happens during Avatar sequels, maybe that will also make Avatar sequels a lot of money too, because that
Hmm.
those themes will land again because of that. But yeah, it's standing up, fighting back against bullies. It doesn't have to be corporate greed. Whatever bully that tries to take what you want, what you have. So that will land with anybody, in my opinion.
I think there's a lot of different things you can pull from in this, different lot of themes you can really dive into.
Exactly, exactly. Any other points that you want to chime in for this discussion, brother, before we end this?
I'm just trying to think. I mean, this is just like a personal thing, and like rewatching it, I thought that first end battle,
Yeah.
when I saw the runtime left, I was like, holy crap, we have an hour. It's going to be an hour of battle, because I've never seen this movie. And then I'm like, oh, there's another battle at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Should people go back and rewatch this? I don't know.
But you gotta admit the battles are pretty epic, especially when
Yeah.
the part where Jake Sully was running, jumping from one ship to the next to put grenades in them to explode them. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
wow, that's epic. And then the part where Michelle Rodriguez's ship got destroyed. I mean, the whole explosions, and then of course the explosives inside the plane. When the plane crash lands and then it explodes even bigger. It's just amazing, amazing
Oh,
scene.
yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
was cool.
Again, and this is a very beautiful, gorgeous film. It doesn't do justice watching it on a small screen. It's amazing, but I just don't know how or why. It just kind of it. I would love to see the curve of like Google searches, where it's like all of a sudden way up, and then no one talks about Avatar anymore.
And the next time we collab on Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5, I think we should do the entire video in Navi language.
Yeah, and one of us will probably be dead by that time, because it'll come out in 2079. If anything, we'll have robot legs like Jake Sully.
That would be awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, Jared, thank you so much for collaborating with me and for sticking through the internet connection problem. I appreciate it very much.
No, thank you, man. Hey, spoilers, people, behind the scenes look, we run into problems every now and then because we are not in the same room. I know that it may look like it, but we're not.
We're not. And for those of you guys watching at home or tuning in, thank you so much for checking us out. Jared, plug yourself. Where can they follow and subscribe to you?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Jared Buckendahl. We're getting to the end of the year, so I'm trying to play catch up on all of these Oscar award worthy movies. We have Star Wars coming up. I'm just looking at my calendar over here. Probably top 10 and whatnot of the year, and then 2020. I have a lot of ideas. Let's see if I actually get motivation to do them. But Rama, thank you so much again for doing this. I love you're one of my favorite people because you laugh at anything and everything I say, and that just gives me a little bit of confidence. So thank you.
Thank you, and everybody, go check out Jared's YouTube channel. It's seriously, he's one of the funniest people I've ever known, and especially his sketches, unbelievably funny, incredibly funny.
I realize no one wants to hear me talk about movies. They just want to see me do weird stuff. So maybe 2020 we'll do some more weird stuff.
Thank you, brother. And until the next collabo, let's rock this.